first question comes from Nina. What are the names of the state alchemists we see in Fullmetal Alchemist? A great question. Fullmetal Alchemist is one of, if not my favorite anime. I don't really need an excuse to talk about it, but this is a great excuse to do so. And now, to find an official list of all the state alchemists in the series. I sure hope this isn't another super long list with a ton of entries. Oh. Well, I guess there's only 9. That can't be right. 1, but not his brother. 2, the one Scar kills. The filler-only guy. The doctor. Kimberly. Yeah, holy heck, there's only 9 state alchemists in all of Fullmetal Alchemist. That's wild. In fairness, we do hear about Scar killing several of them off-screen, enough that he's considered an extremely dangerous serial killer, serial implying 3 or more. And we never do learn the names of his other victims. Alright, well, in no particular order, here are all 9 state alchemists we meet. First, one of the 2 primary protagonists of the show, and the show's namesake, Edward Elric, the Fullmetal Alchemist. Next, the freezing alchemist, Isaac McDougal. Isaac only appears in episode 1 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is technically a non-canon episode, but I'm going to count him nonetheless. His fiery counterpart is Colonel Roy Mustang, the Flame Alchemist. While Ed and his brother Al are definitely the primary protagonists, Roy is the alchemist the story focuses on the next most. These 2 alchemists are characters that we see only in flashbacks and at the times of their deaths at the hands of Scar. Basque Grand, the Ironblood Alchemist, and Giolio Comanche, the Silver Alchemist. Introduced a little later in the series, but a primary antagonist nonetheless, is Sulph J. Kimbley. He is known officially as the Crimson Lotus Alchemist, but is referred to simply as the Crimson Alchemist almost every time he is spoken of. Next up is the Sowing Life Alchemist, Sho Tucker. He is also killed by Scar, but we do get a couple of episodes with him before that happens. Fans of the series are understandably thrilled when he dies. Dr. Tim Marco, the Crystal Alchemist, was the lead researcher into the Philosopher's Stone. The stone is, for the early parts of the story, the thing for which the Elric brothers are searching, which drives the plot forward. And last, but never least, is Major Alex Louise Armstrong, the Strong-Arm Alchemist. I can never say that man's full name without doing an impression. Christopher Sabat is a national treasure. And that's all 9 state alchemists, titles included. Thank you so much for that question. This question comes from Rose. I've heard that some flowers hold meaning when given. What are those meanings? You are correct, though more often than not the meaning is simply, I like you, in one form or another. The meanings you are referring to are known popularly as the Victorian flower language. While not unique to that time period, deciphering the meanings of flowers, and all plants really, became a popular pastime. There were many guides printed to help you decipher what your flowery gift meant, but those meanings could vary from book to book. I have pulled what meanings I could from the Farmer's Almanac. I am hopeful that this list of information is complete and accurate to the time, but I could not find any other sources in my searching. Their list covers, quote, flowers, herbs, and other plants, so it may be a touch longer than you were expecting, but here we go. I'll start with the multi-meaning flowers. Carnations generally mean fascination, female love, or mother's love. However, certain colors of carnation can mean different things. A striped carnation represents represents refusal. A yellow carnation is disdain, disappointment, or rejection. A pink carnation says, I'll never forget you. A red carnation is deep love, or my heart aches. And a white carnation is innocence, sweet love, or pure love. Chrysanthemums have similar color tones. Red says, I love you. Yellow is for slighted love, and white is for truth. Camellias are less similar, literally, but their colors convey similar tones. White says, you're adorable. Pink expresses longing for you. And red says, you're a flame in my heart. Columbines are generally used for foolishness or folly. Purple columbines can mean resolution, while red columbines mean anxiety or trembling. Hyacinths represent sport, games, or play. Blue hyacinths represent constancy. Purple hyacinths say sorrow. Yellow hyacinths mean jealousy. And white hyacinths represent loveliness or prayers for someone. Jasmine comes in two colors, at least on this list, with white meaning sweet love or amiability, and yellow meaning grace or elegance. White lily, like many other white flowers, represents purity, virginity, or heaven. Yellow lily represents happiness, and orange lily says hatred. Tiger lily represents wealth or pride, and while they are not technically lilies, lily of the valley means sweetness or humility, and calla lily means beauty. Also in two colors, blue salvia says, I think of you, while red salvia says, forever mine. Dwarf sunflowers represent adoration, while tall sunflowers represent haughtiness. Red tulips are for passion and declarations of love, while yellow tulips say, sunshine in your smile. Finally, the one you've all been waiting for, roses. Red, the one we all probably know, means love or I love you. Pink is for happiness. White is for innocence. And dark crimson is for mourning a loss. Yellow is for jealousy, infidelity, or a decrease of love. Next up are plants that share a meaning. Begonia and rhododendron both say beware, with rhododendron also sometimes simply meaning danger. Edelweiss has two shared meanings, courage and devotion. Thyme can also mean courage, and heliotrope can also mean devotion. Heliotrope can also mean eternal love, which it shares with yarrow and baby's breath. Thyme, similarly, shares its second meaning, strength, with gladiolus and oak. Gladiolus can also mean integrity or victory. A little more specific than that, nasturtium means victory in battle, as well as patriotism or conquest. A few, as of yet unmentioned flowers actually share some meanings with the color-grouped flowers I started with. Southernwood can also mean constancy or jest. Bittersweet can also mean truth. Lotus flower can also mean purity, as well as enlightenment, self-regeneration, or rebirth. Daisies can also mean innocence, as well as loyal love, or I'll never tell. Amaryllis can also mean pride. Rue can also mean grace or clear vision. Marjoram can also mean happiness. Ferns can also mean fascination, as well as magic or the secret bonds of love. Bluebell, sweet woodruff, and pine can also mean humility, with pine additionally representing piety. Geranium can also mean folly or stupidity. And then we get to a fun little chain. Marigold can also mean jealousy or grief. Grief can also be represented by aloe. Aloe's other meaning is affection, which it shares with morning glory, sorrel, and ivy. Ivy can can also represent fidelity or friendship. Iris and violet both represent faith or faithfulness. Violet can also mean watchfulness or modesty. Iris can also mean trust, hope, valor, or wisdom. Wisdom, in turn, can also be represented by sage, which itself can also represent immortality. Abatina and larkspur can mean fickleness. Larkspur can also mean levity, lightness, or an open heart. Saying goodbye can be done with either sweet pea or cyclamen. Sweet pea also says, "Thank you for a lovely time," or means blissful pleasures. Cyclamen can also represent modesty or resignation. While not precisely the same, beauty is well represented in all its forms. Clematis is for mental beauty, hibiscus is for delicate beauty, and lady's slipper is for capricious beauty. Pansies represent thoughts, and zinnia represents thoughts of absent friends or lasting affection. Tansy is for hostile thoughts or declaring war. And now we get on to, well, everything else. The most obvious thing on this list is forget-me-nots, which say, "Do not forget me." White clover can say, "Think of me." On the opposite end, we have butterfly weed, which says, "Let me go." Apple blossoms show preference, while crab blossoms show an ill nature. Aster can mean daintiness or a symbol of love. Daffodils mean regard or an unequaled love. Gardenias say, "You are lovely," or represent a secret love. Honeysuckle represents the bonds of love. Myrtle can mean good luck or love in a marriage. And magnolia is for love of nature or nobility. Angelica is used for inspiration. Acanthus represents artifice. Fennel shows flattery. A single dahlia represents good taste. Hollyhock is for ambition. Basil is for good wishes. Borage shows bluntness or directness. Willow can convey sadness. Poppy is used for consolation. Candytuft shows your indifference. Belladonna represents silence. Anemone is for the forsaken. Lavender shows distrust. Snapdragon can mean deception or graciousness. Sweet William is for gallantry. Parsley is for festivity. Mint shows virtue. Lemon balm shows sympathy. Chives are for usefulness. Black-eyed Susan represents justice. Chamomile represents patience in adversity. Coriander shows a hidden worth or merit. Tarragon shows a lasting interest. Savory represents spice or interest. Rosemary is for remembrance. Evergreen clematis is for poverty. Bay tree is for glory. Hyssop can show sacrifice or cleanliness. Spearmint shows warmth of sentiment. Valerian is for readiness. Oregano is for substance. Lilac represents the joy of youth. Spring crocus is for youthful gladness or cheerfulness. Coreopsis says you're always cheerful. Arborvitae represents unchanging friendship. Goldenrod is for encouragement or good fortune. Holly is for defense or domestic happiness. Peony is for shame, bashfulness, or to represent a happy life. And finally, hydrangeas are for gratitude for being understood, or frigidity and heartlessness. And there you have it. The next time you give someone a flower, or a plant, or a bouquet, you'll know exactly what it is your gift says to them. Thank you so much for that question. Our last question comes from Solomon. How many trading card games are out there? Oh man, it sure feels like a lot, huh? I think the broader, more technical term for these types of games is collectible card game. Some CCGs name themselves trading card game, but others just say card game, or even official card game. So I'll just stick with CCG to cover as much of these as possible. What this leaves out is the LCG, or living card game, as those games function a little differently and as a result are categorized differently. Okay, how many could there possibly be? Well, there are about 70 CCGs currently in print in various parts of the world. There are many dozens, even hundreds of discontinued or limited run card games. So many, in fact, that it would be almost impossible to count them all. But we can talk about the ones that do still exist. It all started with the granddaddy of all CCGs, Magic: The Gathering, in 1993. Many games attempted to follow suit in 1994, but only one appears to still be in print, maybe. The list I'm looking at actually lists this game twice, once in 1995 and once in 1994, and each entry has the other's name as the also known as, so it's hard to say when it started. The game, Jihad, in its initial printing in 94, is now known as Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. Also from 95, we have Redemption, Shadow Fist, and Power Cards card game, which is a translation of a Hungarian card game title. The Perry Rodden card game, a German card game, and the Pokemon trading card game followed next in 1996 and are both going strong. 1997's only continuing card game appears to be another Hungarian game, The Chosen, a Magus card game. It appears that 1998 was not good to any of its releases, but 1999 gave the world the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. The 2000s starts with basically one game a year. We get The Mission in 02, Berserk in 03, the Duel Masters trading card game in 04, the Lycee trading card game in 05, and Universal Fighting System, or Universus, in 06. General's Order and Weiss Schwartz both debut in 2007. The Bible Battles trading card game and Geek Fight both debut in 2008, and Battle Spirits debuts in 2009. The 2010s start to see an increase in the number of card games released, though none from 2010 seem to have survived. 2011 sees the birth of Cardfight Vanguard, Final Fantasy trading card game, and Precious Memories TCG, one of many, many Japanese card games on this list. Force of Will comes along the following year in 2012, and 2013 introduces Sieg-Krone TCG and ZX Zillions of Enemy X. It seems 2014 was a good year for CCGs, with Exodus, the trading card game, The Super Show, Fortium, and Wixos all still seeing play. We skip 2015 and maybe 2016. For some reason, the list I'm using lists Hero Attacks as being released in 2016, but I'm finding cards printed for the game as early as 2010. Hard to say. Anyhow, Beast Clans, the Castor Chronicles TCG, Cricket Attacks, Dragon Ball Super card game, and Final War tactical card game all release in 2017. 2018 appears to have been weaker, only seeing Time Vault Soccer football card game still in print. Finally, 2019 adds 3 more games to our list: Amino, Flesh and Blood, and Trock. The 2020s have seen a marked increase in tabletop gaming as a whole, not just in CCGs, but that does mean that a ton of new games have come out in the last 6 years. Well, 5 years. It's still too early in 2026 for any new games to have been released. Anyway, we start into 2020 with Build Divide TCG, Ragnarok, Dawn of the Heavens Massacre, and ZU Tiles Hime. The Digimon card game, the second CCG released for Digimon, Gate Ruler, and Wars of the Past all debut in 2021. This is also the year that the Universal Fighting System rebranded to Universus. 2022 only brings a couple, with Cannabeast trading card game, Alestrals, and the Shadowverse Evolve, Sorcery Contested Realm, and Ward. From here, the list gets a little weird. It's only been 1 or 2 years since the first printing of these games, so we can't really know how many of them will withstand the test of time. But for now, 2024 and 2025 have brought us Altered, Cookie Run Bravers, Cryptid Camp Trading Card Game, Ute Trading Card Game, Genius Invocation TCG, the physical version, Oshi Push, Round Table Trading Card Game, Star Wars Unlimited, one of many Star Wars CCGs that have been made over the years, Ultraman Card Game, Union Arena, Godzilla Card Game, Gundam Card Game, Home Team Heroes, the football card game, Love Live official card game, and Riftbound, Riot Games' foray into the CCG space. Many of these games are regional, so I imagine you've only heard of a few of them. Hopefully your favorite game made the list and isn't out of print. Thanks so much for that question. I end my turn. Thank you again to Nina, Rose, and Solomon. If you would like to have your question answered in a video, leave it in a comment below this one. If you would prefer to ask your question a little more privately, you can email me your question at questionsandasmr@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more questions like these every week. Thanks again.